So y'all about to make me drink up all this liquor by myself, huh? Y'all know y'all supposed to get on down to Club Shay Shay, where we do something for two something. Hey, Skip. Now, Friday, I told you I need you to have that same energy. The millennials, they call it synergy. Whatever you call it, synergy, passion, I need you to have that. And I need you to run it with the same tenacity you did the last 8 weeks when you told me how great you guys were. But you got to see me on Monday. Now, y'all get on down here to Club Shay Shay. Knock 3 times. Cowboys done. Entrance on command. And you know my motto at Club Shay Shay. We do something for two something. Now, don't make me drink up all this liquor by myself. I got what you need. And if you need some more, don't worry. I got that too. I just couldn't put it all out here. Come on down to Club Shay Shay, where we do something for two something. Shay Sharpe out.
DJ, cue the record. Cry me a river. Cry me a river.
Oh, this Colts cheesecake.
I'll do that. We will not hit each other in the face. We get along
No,
famously.
sir.
Ryan Clark dialed in on playoff football today. Listen, you get the conference championship game. That's no joke. No fluke team gets to that game. The Rams are really, really good. Today they did it, for all the fancy offense we love about Sean McVay, and we heard all these hires this week because they were young offensive guys like McVay. He just went and stuffed it down the Cowboys' throats.
You know what? Tony, when I was growing up, my mother and father, they really liked them, right? And they had a song that said, it never rains in Southern California. But guess what? Today we saw thunder and lightning in C.J. Anderson, and now you follow him up with Todd Gurley. The game started out with C.J. Anderson running downhill in between the tackles and giving a really physical running game to the Dallas Cowboys, something they did not come in expecting, and you saw it early and often in the first and the second quarter. In the first half, there was vision, there was slashing, he was running behind his pads. More importantly, he was finishing plays physically on defensive backs. So now what do? You bring in Todd Gurley. There's some misdirection in the backfield. It holds some of the linemen. It creates a gap, better yet, a crater for him to run to. And now you see that hurdle-like high school speed from Todd Gurley. Here now, he's going to stretch the edge. You give him an opportunity one-on-one with the cornerback, Todd Gurley is going to win that confrontation time in and time out, and we see him do it again here for a first down. These guys both rushed for over 110 yards tonight. When you can do that offensively, it takes away from the pressure that's on your young quarterback and allows you to move the ball against a defense that really likes the pressure off the edges.
It didn't just rain, it poured. And by the way, that's Tony with a Y and Tony with an I, and Tony is with an E in the little accent.
Something like that.
That's how it works. 123 yards, 23 carries, and inspiration for free. It's one of the heroes. We'll hear from all the principals, the coaches, all the guys that played an important role in this game tonight as the Rams beat the Cowboys 30-22. Gurley, C.J. Anderson put up 2 of the 3 highest rushing totals by any player against the Cowboys this season. Only 3 players went over the century mark against Dallas during the regular season, and then Gurley and Anderson did it in the same game tonight. Anderson, by the way, has gone over 100 in each of his last 3 games. All told, they run for 273 yards, which is a bunch on that Dallas defense. On the other side, Zeke Elliott, in terms of numbers and yards to make everybody else effective.
Coming into this game, if you showed the rushing yards after the game, you would have thought that one side would have been the Cowboys and the other the Rams, and it didn't end up being that way. This defense was great on third down, especially third and short, and also some fourth downs late in the game where they stopped Ezekiel Elliott with pressure up front. You saw penetration, and this team has been maligned all season for it just being Aaron Donald. He was the only guy who could create space. He was the only guy who could wreak havoc in the backfield. But we saw player after player today come up huge for this team. They were physical up front, and Ndamukong Suh came to play. And those linebackers, Littleton, also Mark Barron, who are of the smallest size as far as linebackers are concerned, those guys were huge. And when you play a game like this and you rush the way that you did offensively, it shows that you were prepared up front and you were more physical than the Dallas Cowboys.
You take a look at that right there. Rams last in the regular season yards per carry, and tonight they buckled down just 2.3 yards. So they showed up, they executed. That's coaching, getting your guys ready to go in this. How do you feel Goff played? Because he had a limited role. He didn't really ever stretch the field down there. if I can keep handing it off, there's no use to pressing.
Right.
But what do you think?
Absolutely, but he still made some throws when he needed to. There were some big third down throws he needed to make, some plays down the field to whether it was Cooks, and you also saw other guys get involved. He found ways to make the plays when he needed to. And when you have a guy who's running the ball like Todd Gurley and you're spelling him with C.J. Anderson, you're not going to be asked to do a lot. He made the play action passes when he needed to, and he had the biggest rush of the game, getting a first down there right after the 2-minute warning.
And it's big for McVay in that, you know, sometimes you're like, I got all these plays. I'm going to do all the, you know what? If I'm running, I'll run it 40 times if I can.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna stay with it. I don't have to go all the way.
What's crazy, John, is I feel like he learned this with C.J. Anderson. Todd Gurley set out the game against the Arizona Cardinals. It was the first week that C.J. Anderson was a Los Angeles Ram, and he ran the ball downhill. He had over 100 yards, and you could see the wheels start to spin for Sean McVay and say, you know what? This is the way we got here. Let's stop trying to be pretty. Let's stop trying to get all my disciples or everybody who's ever shaking my hand a job and do what I did when I first got here when I was trying to get Jared Goff to develop.
Right, and it works, and you win, and then you get to be the coach who gives the post-game winning speech there in the locker room.
How about the defense stopping the run for only 50 yards? Hey, and how about the offense rushing for 274? 200-plus yard, plus 100-yard rushers. Where's C.J. Anderson at? Give it up for C.J. Anderson. And welcome back, Todd Gurley. Where's he at? And our leader getting his first playoff dub. Check it off. Final Four next week. Andrew Whitworth.
My guess is Jason Garrett will not be that excited about the performance of his team, but he always smiles and talks nice when he's at the podium.
The tempo of the game, really because of that. They were committed to stopping our run. They had a lot of people around the line of scrimmage, and that's what they were going to do. When we were in 3 wide receiver sets, they were staying in base defense, and they just wanted to stop the run. And that gave us some opportunities in the passing game that we're able to take advantage of. Obviously, we're at our best and we're balanced and we're throwing it and running it, but they were committed to stopping the run, and we had to run them out of that, and at times we did a good job of that.
Jason, you didn't run back on a run play until like 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
There's a lot during the year. A number of those plays get called, and sometimes they become handoffs in the game. It's been a big part of what we do, and we'll continue to use that as we go forward. Not every game is he going to get a ton of carries based on what the defense is playing.
In one play to Zeke that they stopped, you had success the first 2 times. What was you trying to get to there on that fourth one?
Yeah, you know, it's been a signature play for us. We've been very successful over the years, you know, with that idea, you know, double teams at the point of attack and giving Zeke a chance to make the yard. And he's done that time and time again throughout his career, and they did a good job stopping us on that one.
Jason, what's your message to the team? What do you say after a loss?
I'm incredibly proud of our football team. You know, you talk about mental toughness and physical toughness. They demonstrated that the whole year. A young football team that grew a lot over the course of 16 games and a couple games in the playoffs. I think we learned from our experiences. I think we grew. I think we got tougher. I think we became a more hardened football team. I think a lot of young guys grew up, and they grew up together. And those are really positive things that we can build on. The Rams were a better team than we were today. They were. And I don't question our effort, our toughness, our fight. Those guys put it all out there. It inspires me. The hair stands up on the back of my neck when I talk about them and think about them. Everything they put out there is something else. And I love the group of guys we have. They care about each other. They love each other. They love this game. They go about it the right way. All things that we can build on for the future.
I think it was hard to get Amari.
At times, Amari did a really good job. Obviously, on the first drive, he had the big touchdown for us and came back a few other times throughout the game. So he's a good football player. We like to get him involved. I thought Michael Gallup did a lot of good things in the ball game as well. So we're at our best when we spread the ball around. Each of those guys, they're a big part of what we did in the passing game.
What needs to happen to get past this point in the playoffs?
We just have to grow as a team in all areas. We have to get better on offense, better on defense, better in the kicking game. We have to continue to create competitive situations with our personnel on our roster so we can grow, and we have to learn from our experiences. A lot of different experiences this year that we'll grow from, we'll develop from. You know, the early season inconsistency that we had, that we grew out of and played significantly better over the last half of the season. Having the playoff win last week is something we'll benefit from, and having the disappointment today is something we're going to benefit from. You have to remember these feelings when you stand in these locker rooms, when you have disappointment, that has to continue to drive you, and we have the kind of guys who that will. It'll be fuel for us going forward.
Jason, did you see anything matchup-wise that suggested your defense was going to struggle against the run as much as it did tonight?
Again, they're a good football team. They won 13 games. That doesn't happen by accident. They've done a very good job running the football all year long, and that was going to be a challenge for us. And again, we just didn't do a good enough job in that area. It's been one of the strengths of our defense all year long, trying to make teams one-dimensional. That's an objective that we have, and we didn't do that tonight. And we'll look at the tape, and we'll learn from this experience and get better.
3rd and 7, they get picked off on the edge. Is that the last guy that you think is going to do that, or how you judge that situation, what you guys were able to not do?
Yeah, there's some different things that you have to be ready for. Obviously, they want to run the ball in that situation to work some clock or force us to use a timeout. So you're ready for the runs to the backs. You're ready for the nakeds with the quarterback. Maybe you're ready for a quick screen. They did a good job just capturing the edge. And he was able to make that yardage and obviously end the game at that point. An excellent job wherever he's been. And you add him to a duo with Todd Gurley. That's a big-time tandem in the backfield that they have. But they do an excellent job with their scheme. They do an excellent job with their offensive linemen, blocking, and obviously the runners are damn good running the football. So hats off to them. They did a great job. They did a better job than we did tonight. And congratulate the Rams for the year they've had and going on to the next round.
Slow down your run. Slow down your running game. What did they do?
Yeah, we addressed that earlier. They were committed to stopping the run, and they were going to have a lot of guys around the line of scrimmage. And even when we were in 3 wide receiver sets, they were staying in base. So they were committed to stopping our running game, and we had to run. We had to be able to throw them out of that defense. And at times we did. The big plays we had in the passing game were a result of that. Amari on the touchdown early on got a good matchup against the safety. So that's part of how these games go. If they're committed to taking one thing away, you have to beat them in another area. At times they did a good job of that tonight.
Did you guys consider sticking with your base when they were out there at 11 personnel too, trying to do what they did when they were running it so well? You didn't play base very much tonight.
Base on defense? Again, there are a lot of different things that we did to attempt to slow them down. Whether it's personnel or scheme or movement up front, a lot of different things that we tried, but they did a good job. They did a good job up front, controlling the line of scrimmage and running the football.
I don't know if those were real game balls Sean McVay was handing out earlier, if he just grabbed them from the kicker's bag. They were well-deserved in any event. Great win for the Rams. Here's coach at the podium.
Tonight, really, I just thought offense, defense, special teams were outstanding from the jump. So much respect for Coach Garrett and the Cowboys. That's a really, really tough, good football team. A lot of great players, great coaches. So that's a big-time win for us. And I thought the key was being able to hold them to 50 yards and being able to rush for over 270 tonight. We knew it was going to be a physical game. I thought CJ and Todd both were outstanding. I thought the offensive line was great from the start. Aaron continued to make big-time plays at the right moments, and really that kind of personifies our team, being able to get some key stops to close out the game. But, it's a step in the right direction, and then we'll see who we play next week tomorrow. It means a lot for this team, Lindsay, and I think that's kind of what's special about it is to be able to see guys have that success and then be a part of it and be able to share it with them. That's what's so special about football. You're talking about a guy like Andrew Whitworth's been playing as long as he has, to see him play at the level that he played at tonight, and then to be able to get his first playoff win with these guys, his teammates that I know he cares so much about and loves these guys. And now, we've got a big game next week that we'll get ready for starting tomorrow.
There's sometimes a misconception that you guys just throw the ball around the yard, but you're really a running team first and foremost. You think you showed that tonight on a national stage? That's what we.
I think that was a big part of what we wanted to be able to do. And our guys were creating great movement. We were getting efficient runs on early downs, so you're able to get consecutive ones off. When we had to throw it, I thought Jared made some big-time throws. Guys came up in the clutch. I thought we protected really well when we did decide to throw it as well. But you want to be able to be a balanced offense, and we were fortunate throughout the year to be able to, have some success running it or throwing it based on what we felt like was the best way to attack. We had so much respect for this defense going in, but it was a big challenge, and I thought Coach Cromer and the offensive line and our offensive coaching staff just getting a great game plan together, and then ultimately the players executing was special.
These guys just held Seattle 73 yards on the ground. To do 270, how remarkable is that?
It's a big-time deal because, you know, obviously Seattle led the league in rushing. They're a great rush offense, very committed to it. But we were able to do a couple different things tonight where our players made the plays, and that's a great defense. And tonight our guys executed at a really high level. And, you know, what else can you say but just great job by our players tonight.
You talk about going for it on fourth.
All right, you find issue with what either coach had to explain there?
I don't.
Right?
I get it. You know, hey,
Pretty simple.
It's part of the game. Where the game was won was the questions that were asked.
We ran it. They stopped the run.
Game time.
Essentially what they did is they set football